What's going on, everybody? Hope everyone is having a great evening. We got a very special guest, Isaiah Bond, all the way from Buford, Georgia. Is that how you pronounce it, Isaiah?
Yes, sir, it is.
All
Buford,
right.
Georgia.
Love it, man. Isaiah, thank you for joining us tonight. How has the off season treating you? You just finished your football season, so kind of just touch up on what your team accomplished this past season, your individual stats.
Yes, sir. This past season, we two-peated in the state champs, back-to-back state champs this year and last year. I had 2 receiving touchdowns in the game. Also, accolades after the season. Since I had a great season, I also my recruitment has also picked up, and I received quite a bit of offers, probably like over 8+ in a week or so.
Very cool, man. What schools have you been actively talking to after a football season?
Just some off the top of my head, there's many more. Syracuse, Nebraska, Miami, Middle Tennessee. There's some more, but I just can't name off the top of my head right now.
So what do you think some of your, so obviously, you play wide receiver and you play corner. What do you think some of your strengths and weaknesses are at both of those positions?
My strengths is definitely my speed and competitiveness for the sport. I've been playing sports since I was like 8, 7 years old. So, and my brothers also were big sports athletes. So I've always been around sports and stuff like that. Weaknesses. Can't even think of that right now.
All right.
What are you going to be trying to focus on this off season to help you improve on the field? Are you, is there anything specific, that can help you not only next year with your high school team, but can help you going into college as well?
Yes, sir. Well, during the off season, we have track, so I tend to lose up a couple of pounds. So when track season is over, I normally get back in the weight room, start eating much more, and put the weight back on for football and stuff like that.
What are you running in track right now? What events?
I'm running 100 and 200 and the 4x1, 4x4.
What kind of times have you been getting on those previously?
Last year I only ran a 200. I didn't run the 100, but in 3 meets I ran 22.2.
Cool.
Isaiah, who have you been in contact with at the University of Miami? I know we have like Coach Cooney's director of player personnel. Coach Van Dyke was just named cornerbacks coach, and then Travaris Robinson is the defensive backs coach. So, who specifically, have you been having the most conversations with?
Right now I've been having the most conversations with Coach Lycan and Coach Jeff Simpson.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, Coach Simpson, he coached high school football where you're from, right?
Yes, sir. He actually did at Buford.
What's his legacy down there? I know he had a big impact in just high school football in the state of Georgia.
I'm new to Buford. I came as a freshman, but as I've heard, we're big on tradition. Coach Jeff Simpson is a legend around Buford, and he's an amazing coach.
So when you talk to Miami staff right now, are you mostly talking to them about being a wide receiver at the University of Miami, or do you think that they're interested in you as a cornerback?
As of now, they got me at looking at me as a wide receiver.
Okay, very cool.
What kind of 7-on-7 events are you going to be planning for this upcoming, spring, summer kind of schedule?
7-on-7. I actually just went to a tournament a week ago in Jacksonville. But we're going to see how that plays out when we keep putting on 7-on-7, though, because I'm not trying to get hurt in off-season and stuff like that.
Yeah, I hear you on that, man. And it's good that you're actually thinking that way. There's definitely, bonuses about the 7-on-7 stuff with exposure and stuff like that. But you're a really talented player, man. You're going to shine regardless, bro.
Isaiah, how's the level of competition down in, Georgia? During 7-on-7, you get to kind of see other players, other athletes from other states, maybe in South Florida, you play teams, Do you think it's one of the most elite regions in the country?
Yes, sir, for sure. And especially where I stay at Gwinnett County, we also have one of the highest D1 recruiting athletes as a county in the whole country in Gwinnett. So definitely the competition is pretty high.
Very cool. Who was your favorite player you used to look up to growing up at wide receiver, or maybe just in general, you were as a kid growing up?
Growing up, Julio Jones, Odell Beckham Jr., big influencers. Also, on the defensive side, I also started picking up on Jalen Ramsey. I like the way he plays, his confidence and swagger and stuff like that.
Very cool.
So I have a question for you. So, were you born and raised in Georgia as well?
I was born in New Jersey and then moved to South Georgia and raised in South Georgia. And then around high school, middle school era, I moved to Gwinnett County up here in the Buford area.
So what's like your, if this school gave you an offer, like what's your dream school?
I never really had a dream school. Like as a kid, I've always liked teams like Georgia, Auburn, and also some schools like Miami also. I love Miami, Florida. I love the state and always stuff like that. Miami's always been one of my top 3 schools growing up as a kid.
It's awesome to hear.
We know that, Buford, they're always gunning for titles down there. So, I mean, we know definitely that that's the goal for you guys year in, year out. But are there any personal stat goals that you want to reach next season? Any kind of milestones you want to reach?
I like to just look at the next season as just doing better than the season before, just improving my stats and having more yards, receiving yards, and this overall better season. That's how I look at it.
Are you actively playing cornerback and wide receiver for your high school right now?
Yes, sir. I actually do play both sides. Okay.
Has there been any talk from your school about moving you to one side more than the other next season, or are you going to remain on both sides?
Next year, yes, sir. I will remain on both sides of the ball.
Cool.
How are your grades, Isaiah?
Right now I have a 3.3 cumulative GPA.
What have you? I mean, like honestly, like I switched my major like 3 times. I know this is like kind of a very like tough question. Is there anything you have a favorite in studying for school that maybe a specific college does offer, or they're just stronger in that specific department of education?
As of now, I actually haven't picked a major. I don't even know anything about any majors right now.
That was the same way. I think everyone's like that. Is there like, if you could do one thing outside of football, what do you think you would want to do as a profession?
I guess I would have to say right now, marketing, because I'm taking a marketing class right now in high school. Okay. So I guess I would have the most experience in that field. Or some sports medicine to do with sports also, or something like that.
Very cool.
So what are some of like your interests that you have outside of sports, like stuff that you do for fun?
Most of it's just football, but on the backside of life, I sleep. This is really just football and sleep as of right now during the school season. Like during like school, it's really just football, sleep, get your rest and stuff like that, and work out.
Yep.
I'm kind of curious as to some of what you got going on in the weight room. What are you benching and squatting right now?
As of right now, we don't really max bench, max squat like that too much, just because it's a lot of wear and tear on the body. Yep. But I'm for sure putting that work in the weight room.
Yeah, right on.
Do you have any like goals, like with your 40 time, with maybe your measurements? You want to put like 5 pounds of muscle this off season, 10 pounds of muscle after you graduate school?
Yes, sir. I want to be around 180, 185, come out of high school, and 40 for my 40 laser, come out of high school, be around like 4'3", 4'3" low, and stuff like that.
Very cool. Yeah, man. That'll be great, man. With your measurements, and we were kind of watching your film before this, we think you can be like a very elite athlete, at the Power 5 level, and, under like Coach Feely's strength and conditioning program. He does a really great job, at the University of Miami, and like they always take like off-season picks, and everybody looks like Mr. Olympia bodybuilders. So, I mean, whatever strength and conditioning program you're going to be in, man, you're going to fill out nicely. It's going to really help you play at the next level. So that's awesome.
So I know a lot of the recruits that we talk about the social media presence that the Miami fan base has, have you kind of received some of that love from the fan base? Because I know, like, we got edits coming out for all these guys. There's always, people tweeting about them. Like, have you seen that yet? And if you haven't, you're going to after this video gets posted.
Yes, sir. I actually have. The Miami fan base is amazing. It's a big fan base. As soon as I got the offer, a lot of scout pages and stuff like that, other schools hit me up and stuff like that. So yes, I really see the big fan base. And it's not only fans, it's also the coaches in you, just from Miami. So they have support system behind them.
Do you have any desire to continue with track once you get outside of high school?
Yes, sir. That's a big talk me and my mom have had, but after high school, I don't plan on running track though anymore.
Isaiah, what are some important factors for you, deciding, what school you want to attend as a student athlete at the next level? What are some factors that come into play?
Factors, having good communication with the coaches liking me liking the coaching staff, facilities are nice, great education, and also a coaching staff that can get me to that next level in football in my life after college.
Absolutely, that's a big thing. And I remember Coach Mark Richt, he used to bring in recruits and kind of the Canes Network, it was called, or NFL Network, something of that aspect. And basically, after you graduate school, how many connections you have down at the University of Miami. So that's great that you think that way, and making those connections after you're done at the University of Miami, you get your college degree, you're done playing. If you play in the NFL or not, you can network and connect with former players or students who went to the University of Miami, and you're an alumni of the University of Miami. So I think that's a really great mindset, Isaiah. Max, you got anything else?
I'm good, Paul. I think we're good here.
Ross, anything else for Isaiah before we let him go?
Yeah, good to go here, man. Thanks a lot, Isaiah, man. We really appreciate having you on, dude. Thanks for making that time for us.
Yes, sir. No problem. Anytime.
Yeah, Isaiah, man. I think we all left very impressed the way you express yourself. You're very outspoken. You got a great head on your shoulders, and we know you're going to do great things on the field and off the field as an individual. So the sky's the limit for you, man. You got a very bright future ahead of you, and we wish you the best of luck in this recruiting process.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Have a good one, Isaiah.
All right, Isaiah. Take care.
All right.
What's going on, everybody? Hope everyone is having a great night so far. This is our second part of the Isaiah Bond interview where we break down his film. We're joined with Max, Ross, and 365 Canes to go over his film. We'll check it out right now for you guys. Max, hit play, and let's check out Isaiah Bond. Great pass. And like he wanted to hit like a 4.340 at the next level. And I think he can hit that, man. He's really shows a lot of great speed.
He's got that breakaway speed, where he can kind of take it to a next gear. And that's always so important, especially in an offense like we have.
High school football in Georgia, I know we were talking about this like before we recorded. 365 Canes mentioned, man, there's a lot of great players out there, and emphasize recruiting that area. I know South Florida is huge. What do you see so far, 365 Canes? I know it's a lot of deep ball targets so far we've seen.
Yeah, well, he has a background in track, and you see it. Obviously, he's running past people. But you see that play right there. He's able to locate the ball and, go make a play on it. When he starts running, it's effortless acceleration. So he ran the 200 growing up, and you see it. Like, he has gas. He can catch the ball, at the 1 yard line and run full speed for 99 yards.
Yeah, he is fast.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I'd like to see is some more diversity in his routes. It looks like he's running mostly deep posts and slants, or streaks, not slants. And so, you know, you want to see what he can do in the short and the intermediate passing game, because, you know, every clip we've seen so far have been the same 2 routes.
Yep, here comes the corner.
See, that's a nice
Hey.
route there in the end zone with limited space. It's nice to see him make a clean out towards the back of the end zone, and a good pass by the quarterback as well.
He's
Here's
at
him
corner
playing some
right here.
corner. Yeah.
Also, too, like he plays at an elite level. Like a lot of times we see these recruits come in with their highlight tapes. They don't play at an elite level. You know, like he comes from a great high school football program. So the level of competition is very high, which is something you want in recruits to be well coached. Did Jess Simpson coach at this high school?
Yep.
Okay.
Was it like 12 years or something?
Yeah, I think he was there for 12 years.
He won like 7 state championships.
Yeah, set records down there.
Something ridiculous like that.
Nice. Where do you guys see him at the next level?
I
I
mean,
would say.
go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Norfolk.
Well, I was going to say, like, he's one of those guys, like we talked about earlier, where you've got a player that's kind of like, you know, he's not exactly like Malik Curtis, but he's the playmaker, and you find a side of the field that you can put him on. He's the type of guy that you want to work with. I mean, he's a superior athlete. He's got that next level speed. You know, if he starts to play a little bit more consistent cornerback in high school and starts to really pick up on some of that more, I'd be really intrigued to see what he could do with his speed on that side of the ball.
He reminds me a lot of Kadarius Toney from Florida. A lot.
Yeah.
And another player too, we didn't utilize him the right way. Theron Collier. He played, I think, under Shannon. You know, this is someone you can utilize on the inside as a slot receiver. You know, he can really make a lot of plays. CJ Spiller as well, he reminds me of.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he can play 4 positions at the next level. He can play running back, he can play wide receiver, he can play special teams, and he can play corner. And I think, you know, when you got limited numbers and you take a guy that can play multiple positions, you know, you're in a great spot, because, you know, say 1 year he needs to play wide receiver, but you can develop him into a pretty nice corner, like we did with Sam Shields, like we might do with Malik Curtis. You know, I could see Curtis playing maybe wide receiver freshman year and then converting him to a corner after that. And I think like the flexibility there is super valuable.
Yeah, I mean, I like his measurables for corner. I mean, I feel like you can't have enough speed in that room, and you just need as much guys who can run with the Clemson wide receivers, bro. And he could definitely run with the Clemson wide receivers for sure. You know, he has ball skills playing receiver. One thing I talked about with North Fresh earlier is he looks natural coming up to make tackles. So that's something you look at. You know, a lot of guys can cover, but if they're going to come down and make tackles, you know, that's somebody you would look at to, okay, he could literally, you know, play on this side of the ball without being a liability in the run game.
And one thing I also see from him is a possibility of a kick and punt returning for us at the next level as well, which is something we all know that, you know, I'd like to get fixed.
Oh, some basketball. No, he's a great athlete. Great athlete, man. And that's something I like to see. You know, we were watching his film before playing running back at the past season, 2019. You know, and I thought he looked like a Power 5 running back, you know, from his sophomore tapes, honestly. You know, so he's a great athlete. Put him at corner, put him at receiver, at the slot, put him at running back. And it seems like Rob Likens and the staff want to take him on as a receiver. That's what I got from our interview. So, you know, it'll be interesting. Any other thoughts on this film, guys?
I mean, if you talk to Chris from Kane's Legacy, one of the biggest things that he looks for in corners is taking guys with the traits that you want. You know, taking guys that are long and lanky, that have decent size at corner, that have ball skills, that, you know, that have the speed, and you can develop them at whatever position you know you so please. But if they have those traits, then, you know, those are the guys that we need to get on board.
He's got some of the types of, well, not some of that, but the type of speed and short burst quickness to where, you know, even if he did end up playing on the defensive side, he's got that type of closing speed where he can bait quarterbacks into making mistakes and still catch up to the ball just fine. And that's something that always intrigues me, especially this day and age in the spread offense. You know, I mean, if you can convince a college quarterback he's got a wide open receiver and you can make up that ground, you're going to do good for yourself getting turnovers.
For sure. I mean, I like him at corner. For sure. I think that's where his most upside would be. He could probably be successful on receiver, but that's just the type of athlete you want on the roster. Same thing with Curtis. Like, you want to have these tough decisions. So where can I put this guy because he can do this? Oh, he can do this. So you don't want to overload a guy and give him two positions, but just having the conversation with your staff. Those are the type of guys that, you know, you want on the roster.
100%. Anything else you guys want to add to Isaiah Bond before we wrap it up?
I was just going to say, adding into, like I was saying, with the returning kicks and punts, I think he could also be a factor for us on special teams as a gunner on the outside too. I mean, if he starts to shore up his tackling ability playing on defense, that could be a heck of a weapon to have on the outside in that kick game.
And, you know, we gave up a kick return touchdown, a long one against NC State, and it didn't look like, you know, we had guys with speed out there. So just him coming in as a freshman, for sure, I could see him out there covering kicks.
Hey, he's a great athlete. He can play multiple positions at the Power 5 level. He comes from a winning program that you're going to get players well coached. You know, they're not going to come in with a low football IQ. So, hey, for me, I'm all for Isaiah Bond coming to the University of Miami. We just got to land him now. I think that's the key.
Gotta close. Gotta start venturing out just from South Florida into, you know, our neighboring states. Got to build the fence up, but you got to snag elite talent from out of state just because, you know, we have great recruits for speed wise, but, you know, quarterback wise, I mean, we have Turner this cast, but like we need to start going to these other states and having Simpson, you know, a legend at that school and in that state. You know, he could walk into any high school, you know, a high school in Georgia, and I bet the head coach would want to talk to him. Who wouldn't? You want to win, you're going to talk to the guy who's done it the best. So that could definitely help us, especially on the trail.
Yeah, he did say that he's been talking to Simpson and Likens, so I'm sure we're trying to use that relationship as best as we can.
Yeah, if he's got multiple coaches that he can feel comfortable with from the jump, that's only got to be a good thing for us guys. You know, build those relationships, forge those relationships, and keep them strong and keep building on them. And that seems to be what our staff is truly about. They get on these guys early, they stick with them, and they let it be known that they're wanted at Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, another thing to note is Jalar Hawley knows him and played at the same high school. So there's also another guy that he can kind of talk to and bounce things off of if he has questions about the school and the, you know, the program and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you can see him dancing on Saturday. So, you know, he's enjoying his time here in Miami, and we're enjoying his time here too.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Thank you to Isaiah Bond for coming on the show. And 365 Canes, go check him out on Twitter, man. He does a great job breaking down recruits, players in general, and hopefully we can get him on the show a lot more and do this again.
Anytime.
All right, man. Appreciate you guys, and hope everyone has a great rest of their night. And always, all about the U. Go Canes.